The Long Walk is based on a Stephen King novel, and it's directed by Francis Lawrence. And this movie is a dystopian survival thriller film. And it stars Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, who, David Johnson, by the way, I was like, I watched this trailer like over and over again, and I'm like, that actor looks so familiar. That actor looks so familiar. I'm like, oh my god, it's the guy from, oh, it's the synthezoid, the synthezoid robot machine. He was from, David was from the recent Alien Romulus movie, and I love that movie. And he was, oh, I was emotionally connected to his character, and he did such a great job in that movie. But anyway, this movie also stars Charlie Plummer, Ben Rang, from the recent brand new Karate Kid movie. He was really good in that, and now he's in this one. I'm so happy to see him, getting so much, he's becoming very popular, and he's getting more projects and more movies heading his direction. This movie also stars Roman Griffin Davis, Josh Hamilton, Judy Greer, and the one and only Mark Hamill. Judy Greer, who, by the way, I that was the one that caught me off guard. Like, I didn't know she was in this movie, but I just love Judy Greer. But anyway, this film is set in a dystopian 1970s in the 1970s, and the film follows 50 boys in an annual televised competitive walking marathon meant to inspire viewers. Each boy must maintain a pace of 3 miles per hour of nonstop walking for days, and failure to do so after 3 warnings results in death. The boy who lasts the longest wins a large cash prize and the fulfillment of one wish of his choice. So, yeah, like I remember, when the trailer came out, and when this movie was announced, and Mark Hamill was the first. I believe Mark Hamill was the first actor to be attached to this film, this adaptation of the Stephen King novel. I was like, I love Stephen King, and it's Stephen King. Like, his novels, his books, like everything that he's made, whether it's The Shining or It or The Running Man. Though, he can't, it's not just, Stephen King is mostly known as the author, the king of horror, the man who writes a lot of like horror books, like scary like horror books, but he also can do like thriller movies, like dystopian thriller movies, like The Long Walk, and last week, the brand new Glenn Powell and Edgar Wright, The Running Man. And so, he can branch out into different genres. It's not just exclusively he's not just exclusively to the horror genre, but it's Stephen King. And so I was very interested. I was very interested. I believe The Life of Chuck is based on not a novel, but a short story. I know it's Stephen King is related. I know The Life of Chuck with Tom Hiddleston, even though he had like 10 minutes of screen time in that whole entire movie. But anyway, well, maybe 30 minutes in that whole entire 2-hour movie. And that movie also starred Mark Hamill, by the way. Um I believe that movie, The Life of Chuck, is based on. I don't think it's a novel. I think it's a short story in that was written by Stephen King, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, yeah, when they announced this movie, I was very interested. I mean, I love Mark Hamill. I love, it's Stephen King, so of course. And the trailer for this, like, I think the teaser or like the official theatrical trailer came out that was released publicly. I remember watching it, and I'm like, this looks intense, and like, I'm like, I could. There's a potential of me like hyperventilating, and dude, like, I felt that. Had a great time with this movie. I had a great time with this movie. This movie was gritty, it was intense, and Mark Hamill, oh man, I like he was so good in this movie, but I got to give it up to both Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, especially David Johnson. Their performances in this movie is filled with so much like determination and like emotion and full soulful, and it brings a lot of heart to from what I heard. Well, from what I heard, it brings a lot of heart to the actual Stephen King's dystopian tale. It's like and this whole long walk ordeal of its character is just a riveting ride, and I was in for it, man. Like from beginning to end, I was hooked. Like the acting and the dynamics between each of these young men, like these young characters, the dynamics between the characters and the actors playing these characters. I love the actors, and they were very much, each one of them have their own personalities, and they were very well rounded and fully formed. um and I thought the cinematography in this movie felt like, yeah, it felt like that dystopian. I mean, it is a dystopian. I mean, the original novel, from what I looked up, it's a dystopian. So it does like from the cinematography and based on not from the book because I haven't read it myself, but from based on the cinematography and the matching and of all that, I felt like you know this the I felt like the cinematography really did feel like a dystopia, you know. It really did feel like the 70s. Like I was living in this dystopian 70s, like this vintage, like old era, this outdated era. And kudos to the cinematographer, whose name I don't know, 'cause, um, but you know, I just really love it, and it's such a funny contrast, um, to when you're comparing it to like the struggles of American economy and the society from. I mean, this movie is like the 70s, and you compare it to like modern day, like today's, and it's like you can definitely feel it. Um, but yeah. Um, I don't know if I have any issues with this film per se. I mean, maybe the ending of the movie can come off as a bit cryptic, like open, like a not a cliffhanger, but maybe similar to a cliffhanger or like an open end, like a question mark. But that's, I mean, I don't know if I would go fall, all out and say like that's an issue or that's an issue. Maybe for you guys, the ending of this movie it's very, it's, I mean, from, people, I've read a lot of comments from people who actually read the novel, and they said that the ending of this movie is very similar to the book's ending, which is very like the ending is very cryptic. The very ending is, the ending is very cryptic. It's very ambiguous, and you're not really sure. I don't know, maybe you guys might feel like that, but for me, I don't really think about it too much. I don't really like to sit on it that much and think, criticize and critique that much on that one thing, because the rest of it is just like it's gut wrenching and grisly and grim and just, oh man, like I said, like this it's just amazing with the characters and the actors in this film. I don't Um, I don't think. I think that's it. I think that's it. I can't really think of any other issues or critiques or I mean, like I said, that opening like the ending of this movie might bug you guys off, but for me, I really don't for me, I don't like I said, I don't really like to critique it that hard. But yeah, this is just you guys need to check this movie out. I mean, it is so like my palms, I can feel like my palms like sweating. So like my palms were getting moist and like starting to sweat and like getting all red and it's like oh my god, I was clutching. This is really good. This is really good. Fuck it, it's great. It's a great movie. You guys definitely need to check it out. So yeah, well, especially for all three, Mark Hamill, Cooper Hoffman, and David Johnson. These three guys, really do. Three of them really do carry this whole movie with their performances and with their characters from beginning to end. But yeah, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say for The Long Walk. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time to listen to my review, my thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe because that would help me and my YouTube channel out a lot. I appreciate that. I'm thankful for all of you guys and your support. Yeah, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.